Hey guys, how we doing? I'm Yalek. This is going to be a Fat Fingers video. Fat Fingers is a 5-man leaderboard pushing task force. You can check us out pretty much anytime here. Right now we're sitting at number 14, not the best of days. We've actually dropped back a few places. We hit number 11 a few days ago that I saw, and we have established actually a new high in force points for this task force, which is pretty cool because this task force once in the past actually hit number 2 in the world. So this 17,656 for the highest amount of force points, that was a few days ago. This is an old task force too. If you check created almost 1,000 days ago. That's a lot of operations. So that's a bit of an achievement, but of course, you know, it's only matters relative to the amount of force points other people have, and now 17.6 will not get you anywhere near the top of the leaderboard. So good, but not quite good enough. Anyway, we had a really good operation some days ago, and I tried to make a video of it. It didn't work out. I had the game sound up, and so it kind of wrecked the video, so I had to scrap it. But I really wanted to get this operation shown before it falls out of the attack log, which it will do tomorrow. So without further ado, this was a max force points operation. On dead end, you can get no higher than 1131 as a 5-man, so we would take that every single day of the week. This was a fun operation because the first 3 hits you'll see they happened all almost immediately, and then the next 2 happened the following day. But the first 3 hits we took out 226 there, 262 base there, and the 298 base. And the Waterloo and Phobos were crazy attacks. Lots of fun. I'm going to be putting some things into slow-mo, not now, but later in the video, because those attacks were really kind of crazy, hence why I wanted to get this into a video. So this is DCB on an Axiom, which presumably he will appreciate me showing more than the last Axiom that I showed him doing, which was a terrible Axiom, Hot Beach, nothing to anchor your troops. This is a pretty normal Axiom, which is, you know, even though it's going to have higher health, what do we have there? Just under 1.6. And even though there were more defenses and stuff, actually sometimes it's easier just to have the defenses that you expect to be there, like those cells in the middle of the walk to help anchor your troops where you're trying to get them to go. Anyway, this was a nice, clean Axiom. I did not get to see this live because he must have pushed attack just before I did. So the first 3 hits happened like within the first 5 minutes of the operation. So that was DCB on the 226. He lost 7 Zukas, so that was a very, very nice clean Axiom, which I'm sure he preferred to the one the other day, which was the last hit in the operation, so he ended up getting the nasty leftovers that nobody else wanted to hit. Anyway, moving along. I had Waterloo, and pretty standard Waterloo, except I do have an extra rocket over here, and we've got a CMO guarding this corner. That's kind of important because your path, whichever path you choose on Waterloo, I'm not really comfortable with the straight up path, so I use the magic path. Whichever path you follow, you're going to have to walk by the CMO. Bullet is not an option for me here because we have a shock tribe going on. Starting off with some farming because much of this right side can be farmed, and I wanted extra shocks, extra GBE for extra shocks. Can't use bullet because with the extended shock time, it kind of messes with the typical. He doesn't taunt when he comes out of smoke. You have to change your smokes up, and that's that seemed like more work than simply taking advantage of the long shocks, farming up some extra GBE, and shocking this CMO on the way by. However, with the extra stuff here, for example, that rocket launcher, I knew I wasn't going to have the GBE to shock everything back here at the core, so I had a different plan. So farm the crap out of the right side, and off we go over here. Well, actually, we can speed through this part, because this part isn't the important part. Gramps actually made it all the way across the beach there. One of them, well, if they get into your walk, they can mess things up. So I was glad that they died when they did. Now, coming up on the CMO range, going to shock it nice and early so that it doesn't take out Brick. And so we have the extended time. I think it's now 15 seconds. So that's a lot of time for my troops to get by this CMO. I think it might pick off a Zuka at the end. No, not even. So anyway, to get past that, great. And so now my plan here is those shocks came out really fast. My plan is just to ignore rocket launchers over here, and to ignore, there's some machine guns, lost the word for a minute there, so there's some mortars aimed at me, and just critter like crazy as much as possible to absorb fire on that side of this attack. So we've got 1.6, 1.8 plus a bit of change, so 1.8 million health on that core. So I think I went with 1, 2, 3 shocks up top. Typically I have enough for 4 on Waterloo, so I figured shock the CMO on the way by, 3 up top, and then just critters and prey, and it worked out, so I was glad for that. This was happening simultaneous with my hit. This is Sven on the 298, which is a Phobos, and I came out of my attack and got to watch his attack. He's going to farm also, so shortly into his farming, and so I really didn't, I was watching the attack live, not scouting the base. I took a look back here, not all that friendly. Didn't quite know what was happening when he dropped his troops, and he had bullet as well. He cleared some strange mines. At this point, I'm watching and thinking, what? But I had not noticed that there was a CMO on the walk. So, you can't... You possibly could get... This one, you're not going to be able to shock, for one thing. You're not going to have the GBE to shock the other things that you need to. So you're going to have to just walk past it, and he just opted for, not trying to do some sort of crazy delay thing with Brick or whatever, which never works for me anyway, so I'm glad he didn't try that. He just went straight up with bullet. And so we can speed through this. A lot of farming available. We're, well, I like my farming, but it seems to be catching on, I'll say that. So this is where I noted he had bullet, and I'm like, wait, what? But I had not seen the CMO here. He's taking a different path. Was wondering, like, wait, what's up with the mines here? It's just a very unusual attack, very, very different. And we're going to go into slow mode here, because this gets a little weird. He's got taunt activated. Shock, 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 shock. I think he ends up... He does shock these things, but he's a little late with the shocks, but it doesn't matter because he knows he's going to have time because they're going to be taunted. He leaves the mortars back here. These two, unfortunately, are... he did not shock. There's a lot of things back there that you don't really want shooting at you, so you kind of have to pick your poison. The health on this is like a 1.6 and a little bit. So he just relied on pure Azuka power. Bullet bought him a fraction of a second with these defenses over here. And he just let... It's kind of an old school attack, before Brick existed. Just Zukas firing every 2 seconds and powering down this core. The long shocks obviously helped there a good bit, since you're losing the damage boost that you get from having Brick, and the speed boost that you get from having Brick. So, thanks, long shocks. Conveyor, this is Argus. Nobody likes Conveyor. Not a single one of us likes Conveyor. This was actually a really nice hit on Conveyor. Conveyor is just always messy and sloppy. Sometimes but for this one, I thought it might be a decent idea to try to BART out those rocket launchers, but it's dead ends, so they do have a fair bit of health. If you do that, you can come around this side, a little bit of smoking around those mortars, farm up some GB over here, and then you can do a clear back here and free snipe. So I had suggested that as maybe being an option. Once again, Asimo, he has opted to deal with that by shocking straight off the beach, clearing some mines because, again, Conveyor is messy. Nothing on the beach to anchor your troops. Always hate that. Leads to a very nerve-wracking and hair-raising walk. His troops did settle out around these defenses here, so he's probably pretty happy for that. He gets himself into position. Nice triangle smokes. Let's see, looks like he's gonna need 2-3 shocks from there, maybe? Oh no, nice shock down there. Great. This guy just did turn, but you can barely see his Zookas. So actually, he got himself into great position. A little lucky with this Conveyor. Normally there would be some flamethrowers over here, a 4-pack of flamethrowers, and they were not in the mix, so that was one bonus. But yeah, nobody likes hitting Conveyor. Excuse me. I know it's only the 155 here, and the health on it is like 1.2, 1.3 million or something. But yeah, just always a very sloppy hit. Nobody likes that. 190. Normally we do the bases kind of in order, so the 200s need to go first. Mav had put this is Maverick, LD50 is Maverick. He'd put his name on this Dioxin, so I guess he was really itching to hit this, and I do not know why, because this is not a base that I would enjoy hitting. Not a huge fan of Dioxin. I managed to screw it up more than I'd like to admit. So 6, 1.2, 1.4, a little bit under 1.4 million. He cleared an extra mine there. I didn't see if that was a 24 or not, but boy, I've tanked that mine a couple of times when it was a max mine, and it is really, really sad when your Zookas just disappear. Did he do any farming? He did not. So just straight up Zookas. Mav does not always approve of my farming ways, although he has dabbled recently. I'm sure he won't appreciate me telling the whole world that, but you know, sometimes if it works, right, Mav? Anyway, peeked a little bit around the corner there. That's one of the places where I tend to get in trouble on this base. Nice smokes at the kill zone. We've got, what, 1 shock? Probably, well, 2, 3, 4. And what did we say? It was about 1.4 for the health. Oh, because of the peak, those rocket launchers must have seen him down here, so they reacted really, really quickly as he was coming out of smoke. No delay on them. These did not, because they're out of range of this down here. But these guys, yeah. So the rockets caught him, and that always sucks, but he got the win. So that was a good op. Hopefully I won't have to scrap this video, because hopefully I've got the game sound down to an appropriate level. Yes, would be great if I didn't have to keep remaking the same thing over and over again. One more before we go. I'm going to show this because, you know, everybody has to be able to laugh at themselves. That's not the type, that's not the hit I want. That Titanic was ugly, and I think I ended up leaving like 840 health on it. Not 840,000 or 840. It was like a third of an artillery's worth of health left on that core, and it was so sad because it was a really, really ugly Titanic. That is not the one we want. 976, that's the one we want. Here you go. You can get a quick chuckle out of this at my expense. This was Christmas Day, and I'm not gonna, like, this is not an excuse, but this hit was a very, very bad scout. But this hit happened on Christmas Day. The operation had started the day before, and I had taken a quick look at this. Actually, really nice layout up here. These cannons would normally be things that are nasty for you, and cannons are not nasty for you. So we've got 1 shock, 2 shocks, 3 shocks, just 4 shocks at the core. Health is pretty high, but with the long shots, we're not going to be worried about that at all. Took a look at this, and I figured, okay, pretty standard down here, and so I did my clearing over there, and I had put my name on this, which is really the disappointing thing. Put my name on this because I like Callisto. It's one of my favorite bases, except in this particular day. And I got to right about here. Normally you only have to throw one smoke at Callisto, right here at the corner. But I had not noticed that some things were out of place, and all of a sudden that rocket launcher turned, and boy, I was surprised. And the thing, Bat Scout, like I said, normally there are rocket launchers here, I believe, and no, can't be those. Anyway, normally you don't have to worry about smoking here with Callisto. You just have to throw one smoke here. And so I just assumed that this was standard. Like I said, standard, right? And I did not scout the range of these. All I had to do was throw one more smoke, and we were fine there. But was not expecting it. In the middle of my walk, I saw the damn thing turn and look at me, and I was so surprised that there was no time to react, and just every single one of my girls, except this one sad little Zuka, got smoked right on the beach. So then, I mean, there was no point in continuing here. I didn't even drop the hero. I just dropped all of the GBE that I had collected over here, got wasted on the core. Yeah, so in conclusion, you always want to scout your hit like fresh just before you do it. You know, don't take a look at it the day before and make assumptions and then press attack, because bad things will happen. Anyway, I'm Yalik. We are Fat Fingers. Like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, you know how all that stuff goes. I will catch you guys later, and take care.